started out for the tornado warning. Now we've got a new area of rotation just north of that, really just outside that tornado warning. Even though it's not in the warning, it's still of concern because these little twistings in the atmosphere can put down a quick needle-nose tornado and cause some damage, especially if you've got like an outbuilding or a garage or a barn, something like that that's more susceptible to structural damage. These can definitely do damage to that, these little spin-up tornadoes. There's about a 2% tornado risk today from the Storm Prediction Center, and that means like a 98% chance of not getting a tornado, right? Well, if you're in that 2%, of course it matters to you. That's why we're on the air this evening. Areas near Murray State University dealing with a tornado right now, tornado warning, I should say. That's just south of Paducah and south of the Western Kentucky Parkway, and looks like Interstate 24 down there as well. We'll get back to our storm here and show you exactly where it is. If you're just watching us, turning us on here, Louisville is not being impacted by anything right now. Not a drop of rain on the radar inside Jefferson County. Folks in southern Indiana, if you're from basically Harrison County up toward Clark County, you're good too for now. But if you are in parts of Crawford and Orange counties until 7:30 p.m., you're underneath that tornado warning. This storm is moving to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. We're going to get some new information here from the National Weather Service to see exactly what's going on with this storm, see if they have any updates on when they may drop the warning here. Looks like they are going to be continuing the warning until 7:30 this evening. So just to give you guys a heads up here, we've got about another 12 minutes underneath this tornado warning for folks north of I-64 in southern Indiana, in Crawford County and in Orange County. We'll zoom on in here, give you another look at what things are looking like inside the storm so that we can track minute by minute and scan by scan that rotation that has developed just outside of the tornado warning. It's not a huge concern yet, but certainly a concern. That's going to be southwest of Paoli. Paoli, you need to still keep watching us. You need to still have the Wave 3 News weather app, because this storm is knocking on your door. You may not be under the warning right now, but this is a situation where at any one moment you could get one issued for you because of the rotation that we have there on radar. Folks in Ethel, Youngs Creek, you're under the warning right now. Let's get our velocity scope out to show you exactly what's happening. Hail, by the way, is not going to be an issue with these storms tonight. Thank goodness. That's one less thing to worry about. It's just not the right setup to get hail from these storms. They're so low topped in the atmosphere. There's not enough cold air to go around. Looks like that circulation in southwest parts of Orange County is starting to weaken somewhat. It's not quite as bright. There's still a little green and a little red here, kind of a notch. You can see that angle coming together where the winds would be rotating in the atmosphere within this storm. On the southern edge of this storm, near the Stewart and Ethel areas, this is going to be right on the border of Du Bois and, Crawford and Orange counties. We're not seeing quite as much rotation either. It's very broad down there. You know, the very southern edges of these storms are typically where we find the rotation, and that's what we were watching earlier, and that's why we're on the air, because of the rotation in that storm coming to fruition as a tornado warning from the National Weather Service. That was a pretty good call by those folks there, because that rotation was very tight before. This is what I'm talking about by scan. If you just watched this, it changed, it moved. Brand new radar data coming in showing us that the rotation in this storm is pretty much done, but the tornado warning extends for another 10 minutes just in case, because it could spin up once again. Sometimes these storms like to cycle. The rotation ramps up, it gets faster, it gets tighter, and then it starts to weaken. It gets broader. And that can happen a couple times in a storm, sometimes even 10 or 12 times. It just depends on the setup. The setup today doesn't favor long-term circulations. It's going to be very quick, it's going to be fleeting, and it may be just a couple of radar scans it happens, but you need to be on the air and you need to be on alert for these storms, because it only takes seconds for a tornado to touch down in your area, and we want to make sure that we give you the earliest alert on that. We're going to take you on a little tour here of the geography of the area that's within this right now, and show you exactly what's going on. Youngs Creek, there's Ethel down there. You can see where that is. This is west of Indiana 37. If you know where Pine Valley is not in the warning, but areas just to the south and west are literally just a few steps away right now. And we'll zoom in even more to give you a little bit more of a view of where this storm is taking place. We've got County Road 450 there, 490 west. A lot of rural areas this storm is going over right now in Crawford County, but nonetheless, we need to make sure that folks are staying safe out there this evening. There's the wide view to give you an update on what the storms to the west are doing. Not terribly impressive out there. They're moving through the Wabash River Valley at this time. The storms out ahead of those, so there's two lines, the one to our west and the one that's actually moving through parts of southern Indiana now. The one that's closer to us is the more impressive line of storms. 2 tornado warnings around that, one down near Murray State University, and of course one that's now affecting some of our southern Indiana counties until 7:30 p.m. Now, the tornado warning has just been once again updated to cut out a county just because the storm is moving out of certain counties. So Orange County, you are the only one in the tornado warning, and folks in Paoli, you're not in the tornado warning anymore at this point. So, or at all at this point, I should say. Folks in Crawford County, you're not in the tornado warning anymore. So you folks can certainly keep watching this storm, but you don't need to be in your safe place for that much longer. Now, folks out in the Paoli area, you need to make sure that you know where your safe place is, have it ready to go just in case another warning is issued if this storm tries to ramp up once again. You'll see that there are some storms just south of Indianapolis now. They're moving to the northeast. All of these storms moving northeast very quickly just because the wind flow in the atmosphere is very fast at this point. It's quite interesting to watch because we've got such a fast flow in the atmosphere. That's why we have the risk for a tornado warning or two in the area for the evening hours. By about midnight, by the way, I think this all should be done. So we'll be able to sleep soundly this evening after the sun goes down for a few hours and these storms start to behave themselves. But it will turn into a heavy rain threat after this point. The heaviest part of the storm is just northeast of Ethel right now. This is reflectivity on the radar showing us where the heaviest rain is at this time, just south of the Youngs Creek area, just west of southeast in Orange County, Indiana. Again, this warning goes for about the next 7 minutes here, so you folks need to still be in your safe place in southern parts of Orange County. The most populated parts of Orange County are actually not in this warning. That includes Paoli and folks up there near the northeastern and northwestern parts of the county at this time. We'll give you another update on what the winds are looking like inside the storm to see if anything's developing here. We get a scan from the radar here pretty quickly every minute or so now with the new scanning mode that they've put this in. So that's good news for you folks there. New information coming in very frequently, and it's just very broad rotation at this point. Youngs Creek, Ethel, you're still in that warning, but at this point, I think they'll allow this to expire here in the next 6 minutes or so. I'm going to go get some new information from the National Weather Service and see if they have any reports or things that may have been going on in this storm since it was tornado warned. And at this point, we're not seeing any developments from the National Weather Service. And we'll continue to monitor our communications with them. Haven't gotten any reports on Twitter yet either of anything happening here. And Facebook seems to be void of any reports as well. But this storm is going over a rural area, so this is to be expected. Probably not a lot of reports coming out of this. Radar is going to be the tool of choice for this evening. If you happen to have reports, if you're in this area, if you're near Ethel, you're near Youngs Creek, and you see something, please let us know on our Facebook page, Wave 3 Weather, on Twitter at Wave 3 Weather as well. Make sure you do it safely though, all right? You actually need to be in your safe place right now. So once the tornado warning is done, then you go outside and see if there's been any damage, all right? You need to be in your safe place right now for about the next 5 minutes. We're almost done here, folks. We just need to make sure that we can get this storm out of the area, give it another 5 minutes of radar scans to make sure that another one of these small isolated rotation spots doesn't flare up again, and make sure that everybody knows about what's going on in southern Orange County. We're still tracking, of course, that storm out there near Murray State University at this time. I'm going to do a quick zoom in on that because I know a lot of folks have interests in that area, and we want to make sure that if you've got kids who are students down there at Murray State University, that you know exactly what areas are impacted by that storm. So we're going to zoom right in there. This is southwestern Kentucky. This is not in wave country, but a lot of folks folks may be familiar with this area. There is Murray. So yes, there is a tornado warning for Murray at this time down in southwestern Kentucky along US 641 just west of 68, US 68 at this time. We'll take you on back here locally to the tornado warning for Orange County. 3 more minutes until this is allowed to expire. I doubt they'll issue another warning for this downstream. This was a quick spin up. We came on the air as fast as we could to let you know about the potential for this storm to produce a very quick hitting spin up tornado. Want to make sure that folks are informed. If you have the Wave 3 News weather app and you live in this area, it probably went off with the warning information, so you were able to get that in real time. We'll zoom in here to the storm once more to give you an idea of exactly where it is. And the storm, it looks like it's starting to even leave the polygon that it's in at this time. It may be accelerating just a tad up to maybe 50 miles per hour or so. But we've got just another couple minutes under this warning until it's allowed to expire. And then we'll return you to regular programming here right at the bottom of the hour so that we can get you back to your shows. We will be back on with coverage throughout the evening if other tornado warnings are issued. You got to make sure that you have the Wave 3 News weather app. That's going to be the quickest and best way to get those warnings right now. And make sure you keep your TV on too so that we can give you the expert information and the tips and advice that you need to keep your family safe in a situation like this. Emergency weather is very important to us here at Wave 3 News, and we want to make sure that everybody stays safe when it happens, even on a weekend, folks, that's for sure. Chambersburg, Indiana, you folks are along US 150 there in parts of Orange County. We want to make sure you guys are safe too. You're not in the warning at this time, but we want to make sure that you know that this storm is getting ready to bear down on you. Very heavy rain, some gusty winds possible with this. Again, you probably won't be under a warning for it, but you want to make sure that you're away from doors and windows and that you're inside throughout the duration of this storm. We'll take you on down to the storm itself and give you an idea of just how fast it's moving. We'll put the radar here in play mode so you can see it's flying along 45 miles per hour. It's pretty fast for a storm. We would wish it would be a little slower so that we could certainly track it over fewer people as it is dangerous or when it was in its dangerous mode there. But right now it looks like the storm is trying to fall apart somewhat, and the rotation in it is just not very strong. We'll take you on out to areas right next to Indiana 37. There we go. Now we can see exactly what's going on with the radar in the wide view. You see those severe or non-severe quite yet, but could be severe thunderstorms out to our west. This is the main area of concern right here for now. That second line out there well to our west is not the one that we're terribly concerned about at this point. 7:29 p.m. We're going to get one last check of data and information from the National Weather Service before we return you to regular programming, just to make sure nothing has come up here. But it looks like there was no clear sign of any sort of low-level rotation in this storm, and we'll get you back to regular programming immediately. I'm Wave 3 News meteorologist Ryan Hoke. Stay with us throughout the evening.
Should we move?